Alright, so this is just a follow-up video on the forge build I made fairly recently. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link up here. But here we are with the new Thermocouple, and I'm trying to work out how to wire it up actually. But anyway, I bought this Thermocouple, the one you can see up here on the screen, from One Temp, $89, and I also bought 2 meters of steel braided cable. Turns out it was pretty easy to wire it up, just 2 wires to connect. So if they're on the wrong terminals, the temperature will just run backwards, and if that happens, you just swap them round. Easy to do. So after stripping the old Thermocouple, I just need to run the new wires through the box I have the digital reader in. And I'm just pointing at the 2 terminals now that you have to wire it up to. So once that's done, I'll give it a test. So at this stage, I expect it to be perfectly working with glowing figures, and boom, you see there I've got the same error as I had before. So I really wasn't sure what to do at this stage. So with much contemplation, I started fiddling with the settings once again, but it really didn't work. Mucked about with it for half an hour before eventually I called it a day in the workshop, but I ended up taking it indoors into the office and fiddled with it. So another half an hour in the office, and I actually solved the problem. Now it turns out, after looking on the web, I found a manual for it, and it turns out that there are two lots of settings in here. So it's the second lot of settings that I ended up altering, and you get to those, and this little diagram on the screen here, but you get to those by the 2 yellow circled buttons, which is the set and the shift button. You get into a second set, and all I did was change the values to 0. Some are on 1, some are on 100. I don't know how they got that way, but as soon as I changed them all to 0, it started working again. Simple test here proves it. There you go. So it's 18 degrees in the workshop. Yeah, so finish the box off, screw the back on, and time to install it into the forge. Now I was hoping that this probe will go right into the hole I had before, but I'm pretty sure the old one was 4.5 millimeters in diameter and the new one is 6 mil. But I'm still determined. I still believe I can get it in there. But all good. And you see here now that the Thermocouple, the probe, is right down into the forge. Now it's great, but I believe it's in there too far. So what I decided to do is get this piece of pipe, cut it off about 1 inch long, fill it with kale wool, and push the Thermocouple through that, and then slot it down, drop it down onto the top there. You'll see in a sec. And the reason I put the kale in there is so I don't want the Thermocouple, the probe, to actually be confused with some of the external reading. Like if I pulled it up and just propped it up, it will be reading some of the outside temperature and the inside, so I don't want that. So of course now I've got no gas, so it's time for a trip to Bunnings to stand on the COVID crosses, wait my turn to get some new gas. Anyway, here I am, got some gas and time to test it out. Now what was happening here was I couldn't really get the temperature up to what I wanted. I don't know if you can see that, but I was getting it up to about 620, 650, somewhere in that region. But it's just not enough. I need at least 850. Generally these days, or mostly at the moment, I'm using 1084, 1095 maybe, and these need to be heat treated around 800, 820, somewhere in that region. So that's really what I needed. I did adjust the burner. I pushed it down a little bit, thinking that was going to give me a better burn. It did spit and cough a little bit when I lit it, but it was no good. So what I did is raised it back up, and it seemed to be going okay. That way I started getting the temperature I wanted. Again, I don't know if you can see that, it's 820, 822, and I'm now controlling the air, the richness of the gas, and trying to get it so that it's nice and stable. Eventually I do get it. I think you can see there it's actually stable at 814, 815, which is absolutely perfect. So all in all, quite a success. And got a nice glow on in there. I may need a second burner, to be honest with you, but for now I'll just use it like it is. I'm making yet another set of tongs, so I'm just forging out the reins a little bit longer. Yeah, so it's not too bad. So, thanks for watching, but before I go, look out for my next upload, which will probably be the finish of the Tanto style knife build I've been doing. There should be a link on your screen already for that, but the Steel Water Sorrows way of mentioning it. If you feel like you got something from it, be sure to hit the like button, share with your friends, and I would love it if you click the subscribe button. Thanks again, and see you soon out here on the West Coast.